So this is not going to be a hard base because as you can see we've got a couple of Inferno towers down, but we're going to go ahead and roll with this and see kind of how it goes. As I take a look at this base, there's a couple of things that I'm trying to track down. I'm trying to track down the Archer Queen. She's not a huge deal, but I do like to keep an eye on her. Town Hall is center right next to the Eagle. That's ideal for this situation. We want those two things right next to each other. I always check to see how Inferno Towers are set, if they're set to single or if they're set to multi. This one is set to single, but being so close to the Town Hall, it is not going to be a big issue. What we want to watch for is to make sure that the Inferno Towers are not set way outside where the Archer Queen might run into them. If they are set outside, then I'm going to launch the Archer Queen on an opposite side from them. I don't want to lose her to an Inferno Tower, a single Inferno Tower that's going to go haywire. If these are set to multi, I'm not going to worry about them pretty much at all. They're just another defense at that point. And those are kind of some of the things that I'm looking at. I want to see if this is a Town Hall that's level 5. The big doors on the top are going to indicate that they are level 5. And so those are some of the things that I'm kind of looking at. I also want to make sure that there's a path that's going to get me to the Town Hall, that my troops are not going to go astray. There is one small feature of this base that can sometimes throw a BoWitch out of whack, and that is that we have a tunnel straight through the base. It's not going to allow my troops to disperse after the Town Hall goes down, which sometimes you need a little bit of. So as it goes through this Town Hall, it's only going to take out the defenses immediately to each side of it, and sometimes that can pose a little bit of a problem for a BoWitch because they have a hard time with the cleanup afterward. So I do want to be a little careful of that. I tend to go down the short side of a base when I start my BoWitch, as opposed to the long side of the base. I find it keeps the troops just a little bit tighter. So we'll go ahead and run this and see how this attack kind of plays out. So I'm kind of surveying the base still and taking a look at things, and I'll drop troops here in just a few minutes, and you'll see how it plays out. Here I am scanning the base just a little bit more, and you'll see the troops start to drop. Now, the first thing I tend to drop is my Archer Queen with a few healers. I don't want to drop her right on a corner. I'm going to try to drop her just inside of a corner. We'll see where I put her this time. I don't remember exactly where she lands. Still surveying the base here just a little bit. There she is. Okay. So I don't want to drop her right on the corner. If I drop her right on the corner, she's going to have a tendency to go completely outside and maybe not clean out these couple of elements here that might distract some of my troops coming in. But more importantly, I don't really want her going around the outside. She can, it's okay, but in a perfect attack, she actually comes and joins the troops in the middle. You're going to see me do the same thing with the P.E.K.K.A, a couple of witches, and 4 to 6 bowlers up here. Those troops combined are not going to trigger the Eagle. This is a big deal. Another thing you want to take a look at, this is an Eagle level 2, which means I can drop 2 witches and 6 bowlers behind my P.E.K.K.A and still be successful, along with my 5 healers on the witch for the on the queen for the queen walk. That's going to be okay. And that's not going to trigger the Eagle. I can even drop the wall wrecker because that ends up being CC troops, and CC troops do not count against the Eagle. So I can drop all of that and not trigger the Eagle, and then I don't have. Once I start dropping the next couple of troops, the heroes and such, you'll see the Eagle trigger and see how that plays out. So I've dropped my Archer Queen. Here come the healers. We're going to clear a couple of things out. At this point, I'm dropping troops about as fast as I can, but carefully. I don't want to accidentally trigger the Archer Queen's ability or anything else. I want to make sure that I'm doing things correctly. So you'll see the P.E.K.K.A go down. You'll see the witches come behind her. You see the bowlers behind that. This is all happening kind of as fast as I can. There's my witches, 1, 2, 3. You can go up to, I think I usually do 2 or 3 witches behind that, and then sometimes 4 to 5 bowlers. So you'll see them drop behind. There's the wall wrecker. This is all perfect. So far, you'll see that the Eagle has not triggered yet. You don't want that to trigger until you're ready to start dropping heroes. Now, at this point, you can see these are the only elements that might distract my troops. I'm going to wait until this wall wrecker breaks this wall. Once the wall wrecker breaks the wall, I'm going to drop the rest of my troops as quickly as I can. You'll see the spells come in kind of right behind that. So we're cruising through, wall wrecker, I'm waiting patiently, waiting patiently, waiting patiently, and wall wrecker, wall goes down. You're going to see me drop my heroes. I'm going to drop the Barb King and the Grand Warden. Right behind that I'm going to drop the Witches. Right behind that I'm going to drop the Bowlers. Right behind that I'm going to drop the Wizards. Don't forget the Wizards. Sometimes if there's an Inferno Tower early on, I'll cycle over to get the freeze spell, and when I cycle over to get the freeze spell, which is off the screen to the right, my Wizards go off the screen to the left, making me completely forget them. And that becomes a pretty big issue. You'll see that in one of my attacks a little bit later. So here we go. Heroes down. Well, I didn't drop the Witches first. There they are. Witches, Bowlers, Wizards. Might not have seen the Wizards come down, but they're there. Sometimes I even two-finger drop that. And let's take a look at how this is starting to unfold. I got all of that, all of those troops, the heroes, they're all in the core. The Archer Queen has come in. She's brought those healers with her. I don't care if the healers stay on the Archer Queen. I just hope they stay alive. They don't necessarily have to, but the attack goes much better if they do. Some people have those healer traps set up, and those healers can go down pretty quick. Why do I want all these troops in here? The Bowlers are going to clear out most of the defenses and all the debris around. The Wizards are responsible for taking down any CC troops or any heroes or any other troops that need destroying. Bowlers are not very good at that. What are the Witches doing? The Witches are going to release all of those skeletons, create havoc for those defenses. At this point, the Eagle has triggered, but still hasn't even dropped a shot yet. It's going to end up dropping one, maybe two volleys, and that's going to be it. I've already got a heal and a rage spell down. I'm going to drop another heal and a rage right behind that. Don't worry, they last forever. You don't have to worry about dropping them too early. The only thing you want to do is make sure you're dropping them in the path of the troops. Okay? If the wall wrecker is not fast enough to get this wall before the troops take out these defenses, and they're starting to go off track, you want to have that jump ready to put right here. Ideally, the jump is for your exit strategy, but if you need it to keep the troops on track, it's okay to drop it early. So we're going to let this run just a little bit more. My Bowlers are off just a little bit to the side, but they're going to come back over here with that wall being down. Watch the Giga Tesla come out. I'm not going to worry about it too much, but I do want to watch for that big earth-shattering kaboom that's going to happen when the town hall goes down. This is when things start to happen a little bit fast. I'm not going to worry about too many things. What I'm really watching are my hero bars right here. I want to make sure that my heroes don't die. So if they start dropping quickly, I'm going to make sure to trigger them. Remember that Inferno Tower? Hopefully it goes down pretty quick because it's right next to the town hall. But this is where that single Inferno Tower can latch onto a hero, and you do want to kind of watch for that. So I'm going to let this run. We'll see how these troops start to cruise through the core. It's going to happen fast. There's the Giga Tesla triggering. There's one volley of Eagles. The Giga Tesla goes down. I don't think I remembered to actually trigger the Warden, but at any point in there, as soon as the town hall starts getting hit, especially if a bunch of troops are on its way to hitting it, you can trigger that Grand Warden. It will last plenty long enough to take care of that Giga Tesla. But that's really all I want it for. I want to make sure that my troops stay alive. I'm pretty sure I forget on this one. You're going to see a pretty big kaboom. And I don't think it takes down too many troops because I do have that heal spell on them, and I do have the rage spell on them. So they're doing okay. I had giants in the wall wrecker. You can do giants when you're Town Hall 12. If you're facing a Town Hall 11, make it bowlers. The giants are not going to target the Town Hall if it's a Town Hall 11. So I switch to bowlers when I do that. You'll watch the rest of this kind of roll through. Now remember what I said about going through the base a little too narrowly. You're going to see my troops come out the other end, and I've got all kinds of stuff on either side still to go. It's not going to be a big deal in this particular case, but it does become an issue sometimes. You'll notice I do have some troops going around the outside doing some cleanup. I don't worry too much about that. If they go around the outside and do some cleanup, great. If they all end up in the middle, it's not that big a deal. And like I said, if the Archer Queen starts to go around, as long as the healers go with her and the Inferno Tower doesn't take her down, it should be fine. So this particular time she went inside. If she had gone outside around this way, that's okay. One thing that does happen though, if she does go around the outside, when I put that jump spell down, that exit strategy jump spell, I'm going to try to aim it towards the Archer Queen. I'm going to try to get the troops to rejoin her and kind of get back with that healer. So things kind of continue here. You'll see I put the jump spell down on this side because that's where most of the claptrap is. I'm going to try to open up as many sections of the base as possible. This is a snap decision. This is not a decision I make beforehand. I read the attack at this point. And the jump spell is going to go where I can open up the most cavities, but also where the troops are going to head. So this is not a foregone conclusion. This is not where I necessarily intended to put the jump spell. At this point, the attack, I'm reading the attack as it goes, and I'm going to try to adjust on the fly to whatever the attack needs. You'll see I've got all of my heroes still available. Warden should have been triggered long ago. That was my bad. But you've got the Barb King and the Archer Queen still available. The Barb King, if my attack completely stalls and I'm feeling like my troops are getting absolutely bombarded and we're just attacking a wall, I might trigger the Barb King even though he's still at full health to try to keep the attack moving. Same thing with the Archer Queen. If I feel like my troops need her help, I can go ahead and trigger that. But ideally, I'm waiting until those healths go down to about halfway, and we're going to get some benefit out of that heal portion. You'll notice I still had an archer just a second ago. I just dropped her. This is one of the last things I do. When the attack is starting to run smoothly and I'm not really watching anything, things are starting to settle down, which they are right now. The only thing I'm watching for is my heroes, but the Inferno Tower is gone, so I'm not too worried about them dying too quickly. I'm going to find a good place for this last little teeny tiny archer. She is for if I forgot a builder hut somewhere in a corner, or if I need some a little assistance somewhere. In this case, I'm just going to find a nice place far away from other defenses and let her start to work on something just in case I need that. I very rarely time out with this attack. It happens every once in a while, but it's pretty rare, so I'm not too worried about the fact that I'm going to have to come all the way over here to collect some things. I've still got some witches and a bowler doing some work over here. Not sure if they're going to survive this cannon or not, but that doesn't really matter. Again, my focus is over here. I'm not even watching those other troops. My focus is over here with the heroes and deciding when exactly I want to trigger them. So I'm going to let this run, and you'll see that I've got plenty of bowlers left. I've probably got some witches in there. The wizards may or may not have survived the core. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I'm not too worried about it. Their job is to make sure that CC troops go down, and again, if there's a hero in the core or something else, skeletons, sometimes the skeletons need to be taken down. I'll trigger a skeleton trap or something, and I'm just going to let this run. Again, I'm watching my heroes, making sure that nobody's going to die, and mostly I'm just kind of going, okay, everything looks like it's in good shape. I feel pretty good about the way this attack ran. And that's kind of how I run a BoWitch. I'll just let this kind of finish up. You'll see I've got some bowlers cleaning up down in the south. I've got the witches cleaning up in the north. I've got all my hero abilities in this particular attack. Again, those two Inferno Towers being down at the beginning probably made a pretty huge difference in my world. But that's kind of how we want to roll on this base, and we'll just kind of finish this up. So here we have another Town Hall 12. We've got pretty much all our defenses up. I have no idea if this is like a max Town Hall 12 or not. It's not that big a deal either way. But what we're looking at this time is a ring base, which can be pretty tricky for a BoWitch. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. I don't necessarily have a rhyme or reason about when it does and when it doesn't. But I do know that that overall I have some pretty good success with these. Again, I'm going to try to track a few things down. I'm going to try to track down that Archer Queen. I'm not exactly sure where she is. There's the Grand Warden, it looks like. We got Archer Queen over here. And then the other thing I'm looking at again is my Inferno Towers, in this case all set to disco. That is good news for me. I don't have to worry about them taking down my heroes in one single shot. I've got that level 2 Eagle again, so I can drop those troops as I normally do. I don't have to reduce my troop size. If it was a level 1 eagle, I'd still I do my archer queen, I do 4 healers. I think I can still do 5 if I really want to, but I usually do 4 healers. When I drop the archer queen, I drop the P.E.K.K.A, I drop 2 witches, I drop 4 bowlers, and I'm pretty sure that gets you in under the minimum for a level 1. So I just reduce the bowlers a little bit, I reduce that healer by 1, and I think that slides you in under the level 1 eagle. So I've got all discos. This is a level 5. So again, I'm going to have that Giga Bomb happening at the very end. I've got a lot of defenses in here, so it's going to be important that I get some troops into the core. Keep in mind, I've got that wall wrecker coming in. If I can keep the wall wrecker alive all the way through that wall and get it into the core, I'm going to drop 8 giants, and that's going to help me out quite a bit. I'm going to drop a heal on them, I'm going to drop a rage on them. If some other troop happen to find their way in there as well, that's going to help me out quite a bit. But I'm going to keep my deployment pretty much the same. I'm going to try to create that funnel, and I'm going to try to hope that I get some troops to go in that base. So just again, kind of evaluating where my defenses are and kind of what's going on. So no single set infernos, so that's okay. I'm not too worried about the way the expos are set. That's not going to bother me either way. Again, they're just kind of defenses that are in there. And we're going to kind of see how this goes. Again, I'm going to drop my archer queen first, put some healers on her, and here we go. So I'm fired up and ready. So here's the archer queen. I'm going to drop my healers on her. You're going to see me mess up over here. I'm supposed to drop a P.E.K.K.A, 2 witches, and 4 bowlers, but you're going to see that I misdrop and I drop a witch instead. You'll see me drop the P.E.K.K.A over there later, and I'm going to lose some defensive troops because of that. So here it goes. I'm going to drop, there it is, that's a witch. That's supposed to be a P.E.K.K.A. I'm not sure what happened. I just somehow misclicked, but you'll see me drop some witches behind the witch, but she's not going to tank very well for those other witches. And then at some point I kind of go, what the heck just happened? So there's my bowlers. They're dropping in. Here comes my wall wrecker. And I'm going to let this play out for a little bit because I want to try to create a little bit bigger funnel. So the wall wrecker's coming in, and since all of my action is right here, I tend to zoom in on just my one side because all that action is going to be there right away. Here's where I finally figured out, oh wait, my P.E.K.K.A is still down there. What is he still doing down there? And I'm a witch short. That's really weird. I'm supposed to have 4 witches. And I don't figure out until after this attack is done what actually happened. But here's my P.E.K.K.A. I dropped him. He's no longer tanking for much of anything, but that's okay. We're going to let him do his job. And you're going to see the wall go down right here. And again, I'm waiting just a little bit longer this time. Well, not too much longer, I guess, before I start to drop things. There's my witches, my bowlers. Right behind them are going to come my wizards. Right. Oh, not yet. There they are. So I've got my heroes down. So usually, again, heroes first. Right behind them witches. Right behind them bowlers. And I'm going to try to let that play out. Now, this is key right here. I need to make sure this guy survives all the way to the wall. In this case, that's going to happen without too much trouble because, again, we've got some discos up there. But if those aren't discos, if those are single target infernos, you really want to make sure to have that freeze spell at the ready so you can keep that wall wrecker alive. You want to make sure he gets into that center. One of the things that really helped me out here, and it was just kind of by magic, is these troops did not actually go in, they stayed outside. You'll see that help me out here in a sec when they come back inside and go, oh wait, there's a hole. So they're cruising through, they're taking down a few things, and here they go to the inside. And this is all okay. Archer Queen's going to come around this side. Most of my troops are going to come around this side. You will see a few make it into the center. You've noticed that my wall wrecker is about to go down. I smartly drop a freeze. I take down a lot of defenses that way, including the Giga Tesla. And there are my giants. I love the heal rage combo, especially if I know they're going to spend some time there. I've got a lot of defenses in here. I've got a lot of things here. These troops are going to stay inside that spell for a good long time because there's so much to do in here. You'll see I also crank a rage out this way. Why do I do that? Because I want some of these troops to come in here. So if I can get a rage and get some of this stuff cleared out, these troops will retarget and head to the center, and that's an ideal situation as well. There's a couple bowlers, there's some wizards all taking the bait, and that's going to bode well for me. They're going to get into that rage as well, and my warden even is starting to get in on the act, and I get kind of lucky that everybody decides to go into the center. It's a real tricky thing about how long do I wait before I drop the rest of my troops. If I wait too long, all of my troops going around the outside are going to be dead, and I'm not going to have any support for the group coming out of the core. However, if I wait long enough and I get troops into the core, especially this base where there's so much to do in there, there's going to be a lot of benefit to that. So it's just kind of a feel thing. Again, I've still got my jump spell. That's going to be my exit strategy. I'm going to try to find my archer queen. She's actually going inside, but when I use that jump spell, I'm going to want to try to join these troops back up with the archer queen. That's an ideal situation. So again, heal rage in the middle. Everybody's doing some work. I'm waiting for them to target that. I'm waiting for them to target that town hall. It hadn't even been triggered yet, which was good news for me, but I'm waiting for them to target that town hall. If I can get enough of these bowlers to target that town hall and I see that health meter start to drop, I'm going to trigger the warden ability to keep those troops alive. At this point, my Barb King is starting to go down, but I'm not really noticing that. There's so much to watch during this type of attack. My focus right now is on this group of troops and that town hall, because I don't want those bowlers to blow up. So I'm going to lose track of my Barb King a little bit. With the last update, the troop abilities automatically trigger when they get low enough, so it's a little bit less of a deal that I'm going to lose track of my Barb King. He's going to trigger his ability automatically. The bad news is when the Barb King gets low enough that it's triggering automatically, it means it's being targeted by something pretty hefty, and even though it's triggered its ability, it's not going to use its whole ability. You'll notice I've also dropped another heal and rage and jump all through for my exit strategy. You want to use those spells pretty much as quickly as possible. If you're using spells after the town hall goes down, you're probably using them too late. You want to make sure to use them right here on the way to the core and into the core. If you still got heal spells or rage spells, if you still got spells after everything in here has gone down, you're probably using them too late. You're not using them on enough troops, and it's going to make your attack kind of fizzle. So things are going to kind of continue. You'll watch my Barb King go down there. I've just noticed that the town hall is starting to go down, and especially because it's starting to target these troops and they're starting to drop pretty fast, I'm triggering that warden ability, and it's going to survive all the way to the big blast right there, and that's good news for me. I've got my jump spell down for those troops to exit out whenever they're ready. Don't worry, the jump spell lasts forever anymore, and so you don't have to worry about dropping it too early. It lasts for, over half the attack at this point. It's like a 2-minute jump spell. So they're going to jump out, they're going to rejoin the Archer Queen, who's made her way outside the base and is over here, and all is well in the world. You'll see that her ability will trigger automatically right here as well. I forget about her. I did tap the screen like right afterward, but so I trigger, her ability gets triggered as well. But the rest of this attack is going to go pretty successfully. I think even if I didn't have her, things would probably have been okay. There she goes down, but it's okay. The only defense I have left is that Archer Tower. Those witches are going to just destroy that, and this becomes another solid attack. So this is actually the first BoWitch that I did after having not done it since basically being a Town Hall 12 like 3 months ago. So it's a little rough in a couple places, but overall it's a pretty good demo of what goes on. There's a couple things in this one that didn't show in the first two, and that is our Inferno Towers are set to single, and they're not centered around the Town Hall. And the Town Hall itself is actually off-center, which doesn't change my attack much, but it means that the Wall Wrecker is not going to go as deep. The other thing that we're going to end up with is some CC troops, and so in the first two attacks I didn't talk about this, but you need to locate that CC. And the only thing that I want to make sure is that the CC doesn't trigger before my troops all get deployed. If the CC was way over to the outside where I was going to start deploying my troops, I'd want to have a plan for what I'm going to do when those troops come out. As long as my troops are out when the CC gets triggered, and I'm kind of in the bulk of my attack, I'm not going to worry about the CC troops too much. The witches and the wizards will take care of them, or if they end up off center, the Archer Queen can take care of herself. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. We'll also notice that the Eagle is not right next to the town hall. Again, this is something different than we've done before. I almost always go after the town hall first. To me, making sure that the troops stay together and that I can trigger them when that gigabomb goes off and the Grand Warden is going to save them, that's a big deal. If I go for the Eagle first, by the time my troops make it to the town hall, my Grand Warden is going to be over here with the heroes. A few troops might be over here, and that town hall is going to take them down one by one. And that's what's going to happen. Now I know I'm facing a Town Hall 13 this time as opposed to a Town Hall 12, but I'm going to run this like it's a Town Hall 12 attack. You'll notice I don't get 100%, and that's because it's a Town Hall 13 among other things. But for the most part, I'm going to run it like I would a normal Town Hall 12 attack. Why this doesn't work as a Town Hall 13 attack is this, the Inferno that's inside that town hall is so much better at taking down troops more quickly and more efficiently than the Town Hall 12 zappers, because that Inferno Tower just kind of stays on them and it retargets so much quicker than the Town Hall 12. It takes down those skeletons and the witches, and it just doesn't do what it needs to do. So, but I'm going to run this like it's a Town Hall 12 attack. I'm going to pretend like that's what I'm doing. I'm going to ignore the fact that there's some scatter shots here. I'm not going to worry about those. Again, as a BoWitch attack, it just doesn't go well against a Town Hall 13 because of all of that better splash damage. So you'll see how this kind of runs. Again, I'm going to pay attention. So my Inferno Towers are over here, which means my Archer Queen is going to drop over here, far away from them, so that I don't have to worry about it. If I can't avoid the Inferno Tower with the Archer Queen, that's not a game ender, but I do want to be really careful as I'm dropping troops. As soon as that Inferno Tower targets my Archer Queen, I'm going to make sure that I get her ability triggered as it goes into kind of level 2. The Inferno Tower goes into level 2. I don't want my Archer Queen to die, and I don't want her to get all the way down to nothing. I want to make sure that I trigger her before she goes kaput. So you'll see my Archer Queen's going to drop over on this side. My P.E.K.K.A. bowlers and witches are going to drop over on this side. And that's how our attack will kind of get started. That'll create my funnel so that I can drop my wall wrecker, and we can drive right in towards that town hall. So here we go. Oh my goodness, 30 seconds. Okay, let's see if we can fast forward that a little bit. Oh, there they go. Okay, so there's the Archer Queen. There's the P.E.K.K.A., the witches, the bowlers. At this point, my attack is off to a good start. My funnel is being created. If I had this to do again, I would not have dropped these bowlers over here. I'd have dropped them much more over here. This would have been the edge of my funnel. These two bowlers are just going to not do a whole lot of work for me, and I'm not going to get a lot of value out of them. I probably should have just dropped maybe 4. And again, this is my first time doing this since basically as a Town Hall 12. These are too far over. So I would have dropped 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 to get that funnel built. My Archer Queen's going to do a good job of getting my funnel over here. I've got that wall wrecker down. He's going to start doing his work. I want that wall to break a little faster, to be honest with you, because I want that wall to break about the time these 2 units go down. The Archer Queen's already cleared out this side. These 3 are going to be what drives my troops into the middle. I want them to target there. If those aren't there, that's okay, but we need to make sure that wall is down. So you'll see I've decided I'm going to go ahead and finish clearing things out. Here come the heroes. So this is ideal that the witches and the bowlers have kind of rejoined this attack. That's great. If they had gone up the middle, that would have been fine. I'm hoping my Archer Queen comes in and joins this attack as well, and everybody kind of goes into the middle. That's perfect. Again, these bowlers not doing a whole lot for me, and I'm not going to get a lot of value out of them because they were too far to the outside. Again, if some of the troops go around the outside, I'm not going to worry about it too much. They're going to be okay. It's just that the more I can get into the middle, the better off usually I'm going to be. So I've dropped wizards. I've got everything kind of working into the middle here, and I'm now just to kind of talk about where my eyes have gone. Archer Queen, outside troops, wall wrecker. My eyes now are on that wall wrecker. I'm not worrying too much about the other things. As soon as that wall wrecker, if I'm watching sort of these other buildings, when they're gone and the wall wrecker is starting to get close to that wall, that's my timing to drop those heroes. Now that I've got my troops going to the inside, what am I watching? I'm watching this town hall. I'm watching to see when it gets triggered. And basically, if I have enough troops triggering that town hall, I am going to pull that Grand Warden ability. The other thing I'm trying to watch is this Inferno Tower. I want to make sure it doesn't get locked onto a hero. If it gets locked onto a hero, I'm probably going to trigger that hero's ability when it hits probably level 2. I'm not watching the Eagle. I'm not watching any of the troops going around the outside. Those are the things I'm looking for right now. Let it run. The Town Hall has been triggered. These tornado traps weren't really around a whole lot when I was doing my attacks. But they're usually around the Town Hall. It's not unusual. I try not to trigger too much while that tornado is going on. That's just kind of common sense. A lot of times I've got my spells down pretty quick. I've got a heal and a rage as we enter the Town Hall. I'm going to heal and rage as we exit the Town Hall. I'm going to try to jump. I'm probably going to place that jump over here to try to head towards that Eagle next. It's always my second target. And so we'll let this run and see what kind of happens. Hopefully I'm going to trigger that Grand Warden ability anytime now would be good. There it is, just before the boom. My Wall Wrecker got caught up in that tornado. I've got the jump spell down. Okay, so this Inferno Tower is starting to come into place. So now that the Town Hall is dealt with, what's the next thing I'm dealing with? I'm trying to locate my heroes, because in all that claptrap, I always lose track of them. The first one I'm going to try to track down is that Archer Queen. I know my Barb King is probably in with the rest of the troops and in the mix, so I'm not going to worry about him too much, except I do need to keep an eye on him with that Inferno. Where am I going to find the Archer Queen? 90% of the time, the healers are going to tell the story. The healers are going to tell me right where my Archer Queen is. So I usually try to find the healers, and then I look under the healers and see if she's there. If she's not there, which sometimes that happens, sometimes those healers will follow the troops over this way and follow the core troops. I usually try to look around the outside of the base, kind of opposite where the rest of my troops went, because she never seems to follow anybody. Once I've found her, I make sure that she's safe from Inferno Towers, safe from what's going on around her, and I'm just trying to track, are the healers on her? If the healers are on her and there's no Inferno Towers around, I'm not worried about her. The next thing I'm worrying about is the Inferno Tower. Okay, I'm going to watch that. The next thing I'm thinking about is that Eagle. I want to make sure that that Eagle goes down. I'm going to try to place jump spells to go ahead and do that. So I've got that jump spell down. I'm hoping somebody goes that direction. I'm not too worried about the Archer Queen. She's far away from everything. At this point, I'm kind of ignoring what's going on, except for now I'm really watching my heroes. I'm watching the level of that they have left. He's starting to get low. I'm really trying to watch him. I'm going to try to track him down. Where is he in this attack? I don't even know, but I'm going to try to start watching for him. I am noticing that as I do this, I'm noticing this Inferno Tower is engaged in something. I'm going to make sure it's not my Barb King. Looks like it's not. Looks like it's a giant, but I thought it might have been the Barb King. So I hit his ability to make sure that he stays alive and that Inferno Tower does not take him down. So again, I'm trying to watch those heroes. Where's my Archer Queen? Where's my Barb King? They're both kind of tucked right in here. Archer Queen's right there. Barb King's already had his ability triggered. And so at this point, I'm not watching the Barb King anymore either. I've already triggered his ability. There's no point in watching what he's doing. So the only thing I have left to watch for is my Archer Queen. Sometimes I'll cycle over, make sure I've used all of my spells. At this point, I darn well should have. If I have spells left over at this point in the attack, something has gone horribly, horribly wrong. I should not have any spells left. Archer Queen's getting targeted. I go ahead and trigger her ability, and I'm going to get whatever's left in this attack at this point. And there's not a lot left to do. I've got a couple giants doing their thing, and that's about it. Again, I'm running it like a Town Hall 12 attack, so I did not use my Royal Champion because you don't have that at Town Hall 12. And this attack just kind of rolls its way out. And I'm actually going to stop recording at this point because he doesn't get a whole lot more done, and you can have kind of seen what goes on. So that's the BoWitch as I see it. Thanks for watching.